Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let me fix the camera. There we go. Well, that'll work. Well, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to steer away from the horror movies, the serial killer movies, the slasher movies, the scary movies, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to get into a little bit of a different genre. But don't worry, I'm going to go back to the horror side of things in the future. No need to worry. But I just wanted to do a video, or actually a few videos, because I'm going to do the whole series. And we're going to get into superhero movies. And the first one we're going to start with is Superman the movie from 1977, I believe. If you want to be accurate on that, you might want to look that up if you are curious. I'm pretty sure it's 77, but if I'm wrong, please forgive me. But and it stars Christopher Reeve, Gene Hackman, and Margot Kidder. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the channel. Thank you for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please click the subscribe button. And please drop a like on this video if you happen to like this video. And please leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on Superman the movie, or Superman in general. Did you hate him? Did you love him? Were you kind of equal? Maybe you didn't have an opinion. Either way, please leave a comment and let me know. So, if you haven't seen this movie, please go check it out and then come back and watch this review, because this will have some spoilers in it. So let's get into it. So let's give you a quick rundown of the backstory of Superman. He was born on a planet called Krypton, and when he was a baby, his planet exploded, but not before his father, Jor-El, put him in a rocket ship and sent him to Earth. And when he arrived on Earth, he was gifted with superpowers, and he is basically indestructible except for kryptonite, which is a rock fragment from the planet Krypton that had fell to Earth, apparently. So, basically that is where Superman came from. But let's get into the movie. The movie starts out with, well, you're on Krypton, and you meet Jor-El, played by, what's his name? Marlon Brando, and does a great job as Jor-El. Marlon Brando does a great job in everything he does. He's one of a kind. And so basically we are introduced to him and his wife, which I do not remember her name. And there are three criminals, Zod, Ursa, and Non, and they're being sent to the Phantom Zone, which apparently is a place you go to, and supposedly you basically stay there forever, but it seems to be that whoever gets sent there always ends up coming back. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine. But anyway, they're being sent to the Phantom Zone for causing problems on Krypton. And so a little while later, basically what happens is Jor-El is trying to warn everybody that the planet's going to explode in less than 3 days. How he knows that accuracy, I do not know, but it's a movie, so let's run with it. And so he's trying to warn everybody, but the council people don't like the fact that he's warning them, and they think that it's all no big deal, that the planet's not going to explode, that he's just causing panic. So he promises to not say anything else, and he also promises that him nor his wife will try to leave the planet. Now, he didn't mention anything about his son. So basically, in a nutshell, the planet explodes. He puts Kal-El, that's his Krypton name, Kal-El in the rocket ship, sends him to Earth, and he gets superpowers, and he grows up on Smallville, a place called Smallville, which, by the way, speaking of Smallville, I'm going to be doing a TV show review of that whole entire series, so be looking out for that. It's coming in the near future. But he is going to high school in Smallville, and he's got all these powers. He's not sure, he's being treated differently because he's being looked at as kind of kind of an oddball kind of thing. People don't know that he has superpowers, but he just comes off as being odd to them. And the only people who has them is the parents, the people that he met when his rocket ship first crashed. And that was Martha Kent and Jonathan Kent. And they adopt him or take him in as their own. Who knows how that's actually done, because it's never said. And they basically raise him. So the only people who really know about his power are them. And so he grows up, and Jonathan Kent dies from a heart attack, and Clark feels bad about it, which, by the way, Clark Kent is his Earth name when he's not Superman. And so he feels like he has all these powers, and his Earth father died, and he's kind of blaming himself in a way, because he says in the movie, he says, I have all these powers and I couldn't even save him. And, which he's kind of blaming himself for. But anyway, some time goes on, and he leaves his mother, his Earth mother, and he heads north, and goes and has a green crystal that he had gotten from the rocket ship that he crashed in, and basically goes north to where there's like no civilization whatsoever, and throws the green crystal into the snow, and it creates the place known as the Fortress of Solitude, which is an awesome place. And why it's called Solitude, I don't know, because it makes it sound like it's a sad place, but it don't look like a sad place. But anyway, I guess solitude, actually that's solitude is like alone. So I guess in a way that would make sense. But anyway, so it's created, and he talks with his Krypton father, Jor-El. It's a hologram, and he basically explains everything to him. Who he is, where he came from, and over the span of 12 years, I believe it's 12 years, Jor-El basically teaches him everything, all about his powers, all this, all that, and he is now Superman, but he doesn't have that name yet. And so when 12 years pass, he's now about 30 years old, and he goes to Metropolis and starts working for the Daily Planet. And that's where he meets Lois Lane, played by Margot Kidder. And they both work at the Daily Planet, along with Jimmy Olsen and Mr. White, Perry White. And it's pretty good, Clark, when he's Clark Kent, he plays this kind of klutz, kind of, I don't know what you call it. Like, he plays that role really well, of the fact that he's kind of ditzy, he's kind of nerdy in a way, but he pulls it off really well, and he's kind of clumsy, and and he just plays the role really well, and so basically, look, I'm looking at my forehead. It looks like I got sunburn. Man, might have a little bit of a sunburn. I don't know. But anyway, so he's working at the Daily Planet with Lois and Jimmy Olsen and all them. And Lex Luthor shows up, played by Gene Hackman. And his main goal in this movie is to destroy and kill Superman, because it is interfering with what he's trying to do. And what he is trying to do is basically take over, from what I gathered, California. And he's trying to get the oil, and he's trying to get all this so he can be like the rule, the owner, ruler, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not exactly sure on the exact name of what to call it, but yeah. So anyway, in a nutshell, I'm not going to tell you the whole movie. I know I say that in every video, but I'm not going to say the whole movie, because if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. And if you have seen it, you already know, so I don't want to bore you. So basically what happens is, him and Lex have a falling out kind of fight sort of thing. He's sending missiles to different parts of the world, and Superman has to stop them both. And but not before Lex Luthor he somehow gets his hands on some kryptonite and puts it on a chain around Superman's neck, and weakens him, and he falls into the pool. And Lex Luthor's assistant, Mrs. Tessmacher, saves him. She's kind of on the fence. She's part good, part bad. She wants to be the good guys. She wants to be with the good guys, but she just can't, because she's on the bad side, But so that's basically what ends up happening. She saves him. He gets up and flies out of there and stops the missiles. And in a nutshell, what happens at the end, an earthquake happens and kills Lois, kills I think Jimmy Olsen as well, but that one I'm not sure about. I know it kills Lois. And Superman's trying to stop the missiles, and too much is happening at one time, basically. And that's why Lois dies, is because too much is happening. Superman can't get there quick enough. And when he does finally get to Lois, she's already dead. And he freaks out. He yells, and just, he can't take it, because he cared about her and loved her a lot. And but there was a scene where he was talking with with his father, Jor-El, And he said to him that he could never interfere with human history. But he cared about her so much that he went against what Jor-El said. And he turned the Earth back, which, hello, this is a movie, so you just kind of have to bear with us. But he turned the Earth back and ended up saving her, and all is well. So that's basically the whole movie. I left a few things out. But, yeah, so go check it out if you want to see it. And it's really good. I enjoy the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. I also enjoy some of the later Supermans as well. Superman Returns was pretty good. But I'll get into all those in another video. I plan on doing all the Supermans that I have. So stay tuned for that. And but my thoughts on the movie. I really enjoyed the movie. Now, there are so many versions of this movie. There's the original theatrical version, which is the one I enjoyed the most. That's the one I grew up with. That's the one I know. That's the one that, to me, is the better one. And my hair is going crazy there. Anyway, oh well, it's just going to have to stick out there. But anyway, but there are so many other versions. There is one version I saw just recently that is almost over 3 hours. Like, it's like over 3 hours and something minutes long. And the only difference between that was it had extra scenes in it. But me personally, I saw the extra scenes and there was really no point to having the extra scenes. I mean, it didn't make the movie any better. The original theatrical cut that I saw back in the 80s, originally when it came out on all the formats back then, was the best one in my opinion. Then you got the Richard Donner one, where he added his own little scenes in there. And he did that in Superman 2 as well, which we'll get into another time. But, so me personally, I liked the original theatrical cut, when there was no changes to it or anything. That one's my favorite. And so, but the acting was great. Christopher Reeve did great as Superman. He did great playing the Clark Kent and Superman characters, and he just did great on both of them. Gene Hackman did great as Lex Luthor. Margot Kidder did good as Lois Lane. Everybody did a great job in the movie. I have no negative about it. Now, I will say, when I was younger, when I first watched this movie, I did find it a little slow at times, especially at the beginning. So, what I would end up doing is I would fast forward through the whole Krypton stuff, and I would fast forward all the way till he got to Metropolis, because I always thought that very beginning stuff was so slow and so boring and just not interesting. But, I don't do that now, but I did back then when I was a kid. And I don't have anything negative to say about it except for that one little thing. I watch it now, and yeah, it's still kind of slow, but it keeps my attention now because I'm older and I pay more attention now. When you're a kid, your attention span is not as good, and that was my problem. And so, like I said, that's the only negative. The music is great, as usual. And I want to say it's John Williams who did the music. And as always, he does great in every movie he does. He did Jaws. He did all kind of movies. And every movie that I've heard him have music in, he did great. So, anyway, trying to think anything else to say about this movie. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it. I've watched it so many times. It's like I said, Superman is my favorite superhero, and yeah, and I cannot get over how red I look. Man, I think it's because it's hot in here. It's very hot in here right now, and so that could be it too. But anyway, y'all probably think I have high blood pressure or something. I don't, trust me. It's hot in here, and it's just making my face red because of that. But like y'all hopefully y'all probably don't even care about that. But yeah. So so anyway, Superman the movie, great movie. Have nothing bad to say about it except for that one little flaw. Like I said, I like how they portrayed Superman in this. He looked real. He didn't look fake, you know. This was the first movie where it showed Superman flying, and yeah, they used cables and stuff like that, and green screen and stuff, but yeah, they pulled, you know, Richard Donner pulled it off, and did a great job of making you believe that someone can fly. And that was actually the tag on the movie, you know, was that right there saying, you know, saying that. And he pulled it off. He made you believe that a person could fly. And there's one scene, though, that I thought was kind of silly in a way, because it was a scene where him and Lois were flying together, and because she was doing an interview with him, trying to get to know him because he was showing up just randomly, and that's where she gave him his name, was Superman, because he leaves and she is walking into her apartment, and she stops and says, "What a Superman!" And then it dawns on her, huh? This is his name, and then that's how his name got to be. But there's a scene there. She's interviewing him, asking him, how tall he is, how much he weighs, what is he here for? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And she asked him, how fast can he fly? And he said, well, that he's never timed himself. So he gets the idea of them flying together, and they time him on how fast he can fly. There's a scene where they're flying and they're very high up, and how Lois can, because the higher up you go, the less oxygen there is. So you would not be able to breathe. But yeah, she's just flying along right there beside him. I mean, they're holding hands, but she's just flying along as if she can fly too. Me personally, the way that would be is he would have to hold her. Either she'd have to either be on his back, or him be behind her and holding on to her with his arms wrapped around her or something. But he's holding her hand, and he's got it stretched out like this right here. See, and they're like spread apart like this here, and so she's just over there flying just like he is. Technically, the way that would actually be, if that was reality, she'd be falling out of the sky, and he'd be having to hold on to her hand. like that. She would not be beside him. But like I said, this is a movie, and you kind of just have to go with it. But no, what I'm talking about though is they're flying along, and she's talking in her head, you know, saying, you know, I believe the title of the track on the soundtrack is called "Read My Mind." And she's basically talking to him, but not talking to him. And he's basically reading her mind. And so they're flying along above the clouds and everything. And he kind of lets go of her, because he was holding her hand. She wasn't holding his. He was holding hers. And he kind of let go of he kind of let go of her hand in a way, and then they were like touching fingertips, and it slipped, or she slipped, and he dropped her, and it was just so, like, why would you do that, you know? But my guess is he was trying to prove to her that she could trust him, that she was safe with him, because he does the same thing in 4, just about, but a little bit differently. But he does almost the exact same thing in 4, but we'll get to that another day. But I always just thought that scene was it was so cool. It was romantic, but that one little thing there where he dropped her, and she's falling to the earth, and she's screaming, and he flies up and just, you know, catches her, and all is well. You know, they fly back. They forgot to time themselves. And another cool thing about Superman is he kisses her. Does he kiss her in this one? I can't remember. But later in the movies, he kisses her, and it makes her forget. You know, like if he told her that him and Clark were both Superman, he could kiss her and she would forget that he told her that. And so, but in this one, I don't think he kisses her. I think somehow it happens. I have not watched this movie in a while, so I don't really exactly remember how it goes. But she ends up forgetting, or she's acting weird or something like that. But yeah, it's really cool. Go check it out. But anyway, that is my review of Superman the movie, and I recommend it. 5-star, definitely. If you're a Superman fan, if you're a superhero fan, go check it out if you haven't already. Some people aren't Superman fans, and that's fine. You know, you have your own hero. You know, I get it. Nothing wrong with that at all. But if you do like Superman, and you are a Superman fan, you know, go revisit this movie and check it out and rewatch it and just relive the great, you know, Christopher Reeve and all that stuff. So anyway, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't. Please click the bell and turn on notifications so that you're notified when I upload. And the bell is right there next to the subscribe button for those of you who don't know. And it'll ask you, when you click on it, it'll ask you to check the all notifications. Check that, and then click save, and you're good to go. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. Like I said, I'm going to get back into the horror movies soon, but I just wanted to do something a little bit different today, and I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.